Welcome to Anonymous Tarot, where we delve into the mystical world of tarot. I'm Cleo, a mythologist, and I'm thrilled to be here with my co-host, Billy. Today, we're going to explore the Two of Wands.
I love starting with this card, Cleo. There's a sense of weight and balance to it, like the universe is inviting us to consider our choices.
That's exactly what the Two of Wands represents. It's the moment where we're faced with two paths, two possibilities, and we must decide which one to take. The image on this card, with the two wands standing side by side, symbolizes the balance between our inner and outer selves.
I find it interesting how the Two of Wands often shows up in times of transition or change. It's as if the universe is nudging us to weigh our options and make a decision that aligns with our inner truth.
Yes, and the fact that the Two of Wands is a high court card indicates that the choices we make now have a significant impact on our lives. It's a call to be mindful, to listen to our intuition, and to trust that the universe has our back.
I think that's one of the reasons I love this card, Cleo. It's not just about making a choice, but about embracing the uncertainty and the unknown. It's an invitation to trust that everything will unfold as it should.
The Two of Wands is often associated with the ancient Greek myth of Zephyr and Chloris. Zephyr, the god of the west wind, was smitten with Chloris, a beautiful nymph. However, their love was forbidden, as Chloris was already promised to another suitor. Zephyr was determined to win her hand, and so he used his magical winds to woo her.
That's a beautiful story, Cleo, but what I find fascinating is the symbolism of the winds in this myth. Zephyr's winds represent the element of air, which is often associated with intellect, communication, and travel. Does that resonate with you?
Absolutely, Billy. The winds in this myth also represent the choices and opportunities that lie before us. Zephyr's winds are not just a romantic gesture, but a manifestation of the choices we make in life. And that's where the Two of Wands comes in. It's a card of exploration, of weighing our options, and of considering the possibilities.
I see what you mean. The Two of Wands also speaks to the idea of standing at a crossroads with multiple paths before us. Is that not reflected in the myth of Zephyr and Chloris, who are both torn between their desire for each other and their obligations to others?
Exactly, Billy. The myth of Zephyr and Chloris is a powerful reminder that our choices have consequences, and that we must be true to ourselves while still respecting the choices of others. It's a card of integrity, of honesty, and of taking responsibility for our own path in life.
I love how this myth reminds us that our choices are not just about us, but about the people and the world around us. It's a powerful message for anyone who's ever felt torn between two options or paths.
The Two of Wands is often associated with a moment of choice, where we stand at the crossroads of different paths. In dreams, this card can indicate a need to balance opposing forces within ourselves, like the rational and intuitive aspects of our psyche.
I've found that this card can also symbolize a moment of indecision, where we are torn between two possibilities and can't seem to make a decision. The Two of Wands can feel like a dream state, where we are suspended between the two options and can't quite wake up.
That's a beautiful interpretation, Billy. The Two of Wands can also represent the need to trust our intuition and listen to our inner voice. In dreams, this card may indicate that we're being called to trust our inner guidance, even if it means making a choice that goes against our logical or rational thinking.
I think that's one of the most profound aspects of this card, the idea that our inner voice can be more powerful than our rational mind. When we're in a state of flow, our intuition can guide us towards a path that feels more authentic and fulfilling.
The Two of Wands can also represent the idea of creating a new path, one that balances the opposing forces within ourselves. In dreams, this card may indicate that we're being called to create a new reality, one that reflects our true desires and aspirations.
That's a great point, Cleo. The Two of Wands can feel like a dream state where we're not quite sure what's real and what's not. But maybe that's the point, to tap into our subconscious mind and trust that we have the power to create the reality we want.
The Two of Wands is a card of weighing options and making decisions, but at its core, it's also a reflection of our inner world. It's the moment we're forced to confront our own desires, values, and fears. This card can represent the crossroads we face in life, where we're torn between two paths that feel equally right, yet both scream at us to take one.
I love how this card can be both about the rational mind and the intuitive self. It's the space between logic and instinct, where we must listen to our inner voice and trust our gut. But what I find fascinating is how this card can also represent the internal conflict that arises when we are trying to reconcile two opposing aspects of ourselves.
That's so true, Billy. The Two of Wands can be seen as a representation of the dualities that exist within us: light and dark, masculine and feminine, rational and emotional. When we're faced with a difficult decision, we're forced to confront the parts of ourselves that we may be trying to keep hidden or suppressed.
I think that's what makes this card so profoundly personal. It's not just about the external choices we face, but about the internal dialogue that goes on when we are trying to make sense of our own desires and needs. It's a reminder that we can't escape our own psyche, no matter how hard we try.
And I think that's where the symbolism of the two wands comes in. The wands represent the energies and inspirations that drive us. And the way we balance and harmonize these different forces within ourselves is key to making decisions that align with our true purpose.
The idea that we must find a balance between opposing forces is really powerful. It's a reminder that we can't just chase one dream or goal, but must instead find a way to integrate multiple passions and desires into a cohesive whole. It's a very human experience, I think.
The Two of Wands is a card of great tension and inner conflict. When we're facing a decision, we're forced to weigh our options and consider the potential consequences. The flip side of this card suggests that we're being called to look beyond our immediate choices and consider the larger context.
I love how this card can also represent the sense of being stuck between two opposing forces. It's like we're being pulled in two different directions and we're not sure which way to turn. The flip side of the Two of Wands asks us to look deeper into our own psyche and see what's driving our desires and fears.
In many ancient cultures, the Two of Wands was associated with the threshold between opposing forces. It's a card of transition, of crossing from one state of being to another. The flip side of this card suggests that we're being called to embrace the unknown and trust that our inner guidance will lead us forward.
I think this card is also really interesting in terms of its relationship to our shadow selves. When we are faced with a decision, we often try to project our own desires and fears onto others. But the flip side of the Two of Wands asks us to look at our own shadow and confront the parts of ourselves that we may be trying to hide.
The Two of Wands is also a card of great creativity and innovation. When we're able to weigh our options and consider the larger context, we're more likely to come up with novel solutions and find new paths forward. The flip side of this card suggests that we're being called to tap into our own inner wisdom and trust our own intuition.
I think this card can also represent the idea of knowing versus doing. When we are faced with a decision, we may feel like we need to know exactly what to do, but the flip side of the Two of Wands suggests that sometimes we just need to take a leap of faith and trust that our inner guidance will carry us through.
The Two of Wands is often associated with the idea of being at a crossroads, where we have to make a choice between two paths. But what if we told you that this choice isn't just about the physical path, but also about the emotional and spiritual one? The Two of Wands represents the integration of opposites, the coming together of the conscious and subconscious mind.
I love how this card can be seen as a symbol of the integration of the self. It's like we're being called to reconcile the parts of ourselves that may have been at odds with each other. But what does this integration look like in terms of our relationships with others? Do we integrate the energies of others into our own, or do we hold our own space?
In many ancient cultures, the Two of Wands is associated with the god of the underworld, who represents the realm of the dead and the afterlife. This card can be seen as a reminder that our choices have consequences, not just for ourselves, but for the world around us.
I think this card is also a reminder that our choices are not always clear-cut. Sometimes we are faced with options that seem contradictory or even conflicting. How do we navigate these situations, and what does this say about our capacity for adaptability and growth?
In terms of carrying this card, I would say it's about cultivating a sense of inner stability and balance. It's about finding the courage to make a choice, even when it's difficult or uncertain, and trusting that the universe will support us on our path.
I see it as an invitation to explore the unknown, to take a leap of faith and trust that we'll find our way. It's a reminder that the greatest risks often lead to the greatest rewards, and that the only way to truly know ourselves is to take that first step into the unknown.
The cards have spoken.
We'll see you at the next draw.